Dixon scored her 100th career point in Rutgers' last outing a full week ago when they lost at top 10 Johns Hopkins. Rutgers 1-1 in the Big Ten, Ohio State 1-2. So this game means a lot for postseason seeding, both in the conference and in the NCAA tournament, perhaps. And we are all set to go. Katie Buck for Rutgers and Abby Boyle for Ohio State. And it's the Scarlet Knights who get to wear the Scarlet today, controlling the opening possession.
Yeah, Scarlet out today here at SHI.
It's a good thing the Buckeyes left the Scarlet uniforms at home. The Rutgers, though, seeing a number next to the name of their opponent, as you mentioned, Miles, it is not a foreign concept to them, right? Games in the non-con against the likes of Princeton and Yale, a ranked win in overtime on this field against a top 25 Stony Brook team. It's been battle-tested, but it's not seen a defense quite like this one.
Yeah, and that's been the norm for head coach Melissa Lehman, right? Wants to schedule top opponents in the non-con, get you ready for Big Ten play. That's really the starkest contrast between these two squads. I mean, the numbers much more impressive on paper when it comes to Ohio State, but the competition just hasn't been there. You see, time and time again, number 4 Yale, number 16 Stony Brook, where they picked up that win. I mean, top 15 teams were pretty much the norm for Rutgers in the non-con, and now here they are.
Rutgers a player up because of the green card shown to Leah Sachs on the ride. And the pass into the middle, thrown away. Ohio State trying to burn off the rest of this penalty. And carrying ahead with Campbell Stone, the sophomore midfielder. So an early opportunity for the Scarlet Knights to get something against Jocelyn Torres and this stout defense. But that pass from Dixon into the middle did not connect. And now we see the Buckeyes on offense, a unit that has had success this year but maybe been overshadowed by the lights-out nature of the defense, 12.7 goals per game. And the name to know on this side of the ball, Bryn Ammerman.
Yeah, Bryn Ammerman really does feel like the engine of this offense, able to find her teammates at will when she's on. And number 10 today in gray, excited to see what she has in store for us.
Leah Sachs back on the field. She's an attacker, so they're waiting for her to make the offense whole. And 30 seconds to operate with for the Buckeyes. On the drive, Stone shoots it wide. And the first look that Lexie Coldiron gets against the Buckeyes, the Lafayette grad transfer who has flourished this year.
Yeah, a couple of top keepers in net today. Of course, Torres we touched on, and then Coldiron as well. Just been really consistent in 2025.
7 to shoot. The pass into the middle does not connect. And this is a shot clock violation with a bright idea at the end of it, too, as Katie Tyak throws it away. So parking in the end zone. Kate Tyak, the sophomore attacker, makes Rutgers go the length of the field. A Rutgers offense that has Dixon, the junior, as the feeder, the ex-attacker, but has a ton of youth on that side, too.
Very much so. A lot to be excited about. And so far for Ohio State in Big Ten play, the offense hasn't been spectacular. That loss against USC, 8 goals put up, and then, of course, just 7 last time out against a top foe in Michigan.
There's Dixon. Long looping pass that Peyton Tini is lucky to receive. And now Alexa Corbin. She's the big goal scorer for the Scarlet Knights this year.
Yeah, Corbin sort of gets overshadowed by Dixon at times, but statistically speaking, she's been really solid. 15 goals, tied with Dixon. Definitely deserves some love.
Under 30 seconds to operate with, and Rutgers, that's plenty of time for them. Feed the middle. That's where Hillary Elsner's located.
Yeah, that's another dime dropped off by Dixon there. Decisive ball movement. Great job cutting across by Elsner. You see Dixon, her eyes just lit up there, and Elsner cuts across, and that is just too difficult there in goal for Torres. Not much she could do when it's that point-blank range.
Elsner, the tall freshman attacker, has come on strong the last few weeks. Had 4 goals in Rutgers' last home game against Temple, and she opens the seal on this game.
Yeah, and that's got to feel really good against a solid Buckeye defense, cutting across. And we were talking about this a little bit off air, wondering who's going to step up alongside Dixon and Corbin on the offensive side. Well, in the early going, here's Elsner on the board.
So that's 7 goals for her in her last 4 games. You've seen some of these freshmen now that we're into the second half of this season start to figure things out.
And those first few months of collegiate play can be so difficult, right? It's an entire different atmosphere every time you step on the field, but you can see these underclassmen for the Scarlet Knights getting loose.
So give the assists to Lily Dixon, who's among the nation's leaders in that department, 25. And RU breaks through. And Ohio State with the opportunity to respond right back. Tyak had trouble with it. A spill, she's gonna get there. That was Sienna Casello, the defensive midfielder for Rutgers, who was first to it. Another ball loose on the turf. Simple handling there. McKenna Harrington is the latest to lose control. And now Rutgers is off to the races. Right down Broadway. Chiarella. Corbin. Feed the middle. Stops. Torres turns Michelle Warren aside.
And check out the speed by Chiarella. I mean, got up the field in 2 seconds, and man, oh man.
Delaney Sutley self-starting to score.
Sutley just solo-minded there, saw the opening and took advantage. See Buckeyes in the huddle reflecting on how that gap was so large cutting across. You see Sutley, of course. It was pretty consistent offense from the Scarlet Knights the last couple minutes, and then just got 2 open there on the right side.
Yeah, something of a defensive miscommunication, allowing Delaney Sutley to go right to the hoop. 15 goals. She's another freshman who came on strong. Big Ten Freshman of the Week back in February and has sustained a great pace.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Taken away. Lexie Coldiron plucked it out of the sky.
And that's the second time we've seen that attempted here in the first quarter. I mean, arguably leaves herself a little exposed if it's unsuccessful, but just trying to snatch the assist attempt out of the air and takes it herself. An awfully aggressive play there from Coldiron.
That's the 4th time this season that Coldiron has come up with a caused turnover. And keeps the shutout going. And at this point, you're just wondering for Rutgers, with the top 5 Ohio State defense on the other side, how much can you collect early as part of this hot run?
And of course, as we touched on, Ohio State not exactly a team that's built to come back from a hole. So Rutgers must feel awfully comfortable.
Eva Chiarella slashes around 2 and slots it home. 4 straight goals for the Scarlet Knights.
And the depth just really on display here for Rutgers. Another name joins the party, and this one's a solo goal, a rare solo goal here for Rutgers. Diving in and pockets it, bottom left-hand corner, right past Torres.
Great dodge to start for Chiarella and put on the afterburners to get in tight. And she is the 4th Scarlet Knight to score.
And usually it's been Dixon on the dime. Not necessary this time around. Just completely solo there. Curls around it. Pretty solid crowd here on this Scarlet Out Sunday. They've been treated to a nice first quarter.
And this is the point where the Buckeyes need to win a draw, but Katie Buck, the junior, controls another one. 4 of the first 5 draws controlled by the Scarlet Knights, and that's just one of the reasons why it's a big Rutgers lead to begin.
And that's really where you pick up a lot of momentum. Coming off a goal, now you can just sit back, relax, dominate a possession. And you see that was almost a pretty look inside.
Yeah, it was Dixon looking for Elsner again. Duck inside for Chiarella. Torres takes it away. Dixon on the follow. Big ground ball. Ohio State has it. Inside of 2 minutes now in the first quarter, and Ohio State finishes another clear. Rutgers gets back in transition quickly. So far, the looks inside of 5 yards for Ohio State have been stopped by Rutgers, minus the one opportunity, the one shot on goal they got.
And, of course, coming in, Ohio State was the defense we were talking about, but so far it's the Scarlet Knights asserting themselves.
Risky pass, and Emily Magalotti is happy to retain. Should restart from 12 yards away. From 12 meters away, that is. Congested pass. And Ohio State wins the run out. Keeping it in play, in fact. No reset shot clock, so Kate Tyak sends it to the point. Off balance look and a foul as Coleman got thrown to the deck.
Yeah, this one's been pretty clean so far in the first quarter. First bout of contact inside, get another look here. Pretty nice opportunity there before, as she splits those two, but then, yeah, just too much pressure up high from Chiarella.
Coleman shoots wide. About a 10-second difference between the shot clock and game clock in the final minute of the first quarter. Share it around. There's no opening. Stone for Magalotti. And now Annie Hargraves with 1 to shoot. Ohio State doesn't realize. And that's their second shot clock violation of the quarter. The final moments tick off the opening period clock. A first quarter shutout for the Scarlet Knights. Lehman has put in work recruiting this area, recruiting the likes of Lily Dixon over the last few years, and then molding them into Big Ten caliber goal scorers.
That's another point that sort of does get glossed over is player development, right? It's not a guarantee if you bring in a talented player, she will pan out. That's another discussion.
Well, Ohio State controls the opening draw in the second quarter. And lots there to mull over for Amanda Moore, the second-year coach of a Buckeyes team. It's gotten the squad in the top 25, already put together perhaps the best season in a decade. They're trying to turn that into success in the Big Ten. They've had trouble unpacking the Rutgers defense. They haven't even been able to get to Lexie Coldiron much.
And you can imagine the pressure is starting to mount internally for Ohio State. Really cold offensive second half against the top squad in Michigan, and then so far just absolutely silent, but there is that late whistle.
Yeah, that'll help. Campbell Stone was the one who got pushed down on a great slash.
Yeah, another look. Stone has been aggressive. She lost control in the early going, but Campbell Stone, certainly some pressure now. The Ohio native will have some chance.
Steps to goal and slots it home. And 16 minutes in, Ohio State has its first goal.
Yeah, and that's really big if you're Ohio State. Get the monkey off your back. The 0 is behind you, and now you can really try and build some momentum there. That's really well done. Skipped home, bottom right-hand corner, extremely well placed. That's Coldiron.
Campbell Stone is a really talented goal scorer. Number 2 on the team, 22 goals now. You mentioned she's an Ohio native from Upper Arlington, former state midfielder of the year in high school. Out in the Midwest, lacrosse is really starting to catch on, and Campbell Stone is an example of it.
Sure is, and you know, that is a really pivotal goal here in this second quarter. It did feel like Ohio State was starting to feel the pressure. You could see every single staff member in the quarter break came onto the field in a big huddle, Very different body language as opposed to the Scarlet Knights.
And they control another one at the dot after Rutgers won 4 of the 5 draws in the first quarter. And that's the great game changer, what you can do at the center circle. Mentioned both these teams come in roughly 50%. Ammerman, pass in the middle, does not connect. And out to the restraining line. Who stepped over? Somebody did. And they'll say it was Lily Dixon.
Yeah, you see the late call saying 11. That's on you. You see that left foot maybe.
Wow.
It's close.
She didn't realize. That is a green card, though. Too many players for Rutgers, and Dixon has to sit out for a minute. Power play opportunity for the Buckeyes as they look for a run to get back in the game. Ammerman surveys the field. Hargraves. Halfway through the penalty. Duck in front. Extra pass. And it's thrown away.
Yeah, look just left of Tyak there. Of course, she's been such a consistent offensive force.
Yeah, Leah Sachs tried to make an extra pass right across the crease. Final second to the penalty. Another ground ball. Rutgers will get called for the contact, taking that pass away. So another free position. This time it's Annie Hargraves, the senior, also from Upper Arlington, with an opportunity to add. She cannot. Coldiron stops another.
And Coldiron fired up for good reason there. I mean, that is a high leverage spot. Think about the player up situation. You just relinquished that 4-goal, 4-0 lead. And it does feel like these last 2.5 minutes have had some Buckeye momentum brewing. Major save.
2 stops for the grad student in goal for Rutgers, Lexie Coldiron. 2 stops on shots from the distance of what, 2 feet? That's what it feels like. And it stays 4-1. Dixon back on the field, the penalty killed. Rutgers so far 4 goals on 9 shots. Tini in traffic. And Corbin saves it from the line. Tini, she's open that time. Make it 2 for Peyton Tini. The difference is 4 once again.
And Rutgers has been great offensively, but that's really the second lapse for Ohio State. Tini is just too wide open cutting across in a miscommunication. And as you can imagine, this is a Buckeye lineup, top 5 defensive group in the nation. Just having these conversations, a little bit confused about why Tini is able to get that open there. And Hargraves just gets beat.
Peyton Tini has scored twice in the opening half. Both times, Lily Dixon set her up. And it's a 2-year partnership that's really blossomed this season.
Yeah, what a connection those two seem to have. But I just can't get over that defensive lapse. I mean, Hargraves got beat, and it was pretty much a layup up front for Tini.
And Peyton Tini was a leader of the Rutgers offense late in the season last year, and we're starting to see signs of a breakout this year. Second time in the last 3 games where she's had multiple goals, and Rutgers controls another draw.
And if you're head coach Melissa Lehman, this is where you start to feel those dividends coming in from that really difficult non-conference schedule, playing really top defenses consistently.
Now you think back to some of the teams that Rutgers competed with. A loss at Yale early in the year where Melissa Lehman said, hey, we battled. It was a game late. Rutgers was within a pair of goals. hosting Princeton here, where Rutgers did not have a good game, but had to go up against a top 10 program. And getting itself into those late game scenarios, too, like the double overtime win against Stony Brook. All of that adds up to experiences for a young team that needed to grow on the field.
Certainly, and particularly when you have a slew of underclassmen that have become your top offensive weapons, or maybe your secondary offensive weapons. Those games, just major experiences.
I'm not sure exactly what the officials huddled about. Clock continues to roll at 10:42 to go in the first half. Here's Corbin, the senior from Long Island, who's had a big role on this year's team. Shot clock is at 17 now as Sutley gets it in Dixon's hands. Back in front. Oh, the bouncing ball. There was a chance there for Coughlin to slot it in. They will say Torres was able to stop it, so reset shot clock. Dixon whips it to Corbin. And there comes Pin balling out, and a reset.
Yeah, just a tad behind Corbin there, but impressive job to keep the possession in this half.
Dixon to Tini again. Dixon beats her defender, and Torres makes a big save.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
On 5 shots on target from Ohio State. She also has 2 caused turnovers, so acting like an extra defender for the Scarlet Knights. We mentioned this right off the top. Her success has not gone unnoticed. This week, added to the Torton Award watch list. Inside Lacrosse named her a midseason All-American, and the accolades will continue to roll in if she plays like this.
Certainly, certainly. And, of course, when you go up against a top 21 team, you're going to have a few more eyes on you as well. And so far, she has really held her own.
And Rutgers with the ball, and now back to even strength coming out of the timeout from Melissa Lehman. The Scarlet Knights scored the first 4 goals, the only 4 goals in the first quarter. Ohio State scored the first one in the second. Rutgers got it back, and that's how we're at this 5-1 margin in a Big Ten battle. Peyton Tini scored 2 of them, number 21 in Scarlet. And Delaney Sutley, one of the 4 total to net a goal. Shot clock's at 15. Dixon. Warren rises above GLE and rolls it in. Rise and fire. The senior Michelle Warren makes it 6-1.
6-1 now, and it doesn't feel like it's any particular name for Rutgers getting it done. I mean, such a team effort here midway through Big Ten play, and one of their more inspiring games of the year so far.
Six goals on the year for the senior Michelle Warren, who gets love from the bench because this was a tough one to stop.
Yeah, Dixon dishes it back to her, but that's pretty much a solo finish from Warren. Had to create, turn back herself, and every bit of that positioning she earned herself.
The Rutgers has been pouring confidence into Michelle Warren, who has come on strong in the last week. That's now her 4th goal in the last 3 games. She scored in the last 3. Also making her first start of the year today. So it's all coming together at the right time for the native of Westchester, Pennsylvania. And on the battle for the draw control, they will put it in Buckeye hands. So the Scarlet and Gray have it. Well, they had it. That's Dixon called on the hit. And are they going to get a card on her? Yes. That will be another card against Lily Dixon. And that time she knew it.
Believe the call. Second time, though, she had to head off.
And she got carded trying to reel in an errant pass out by the restraining line earlier in this game. So another player up opportunity for Ohio State. And add to the list of issues for the Buckeyes. They've seen the Scarlet Knights get carded 3 times and not been able to score on any of them. Can it change now? $20 on the penalty via Sachs. Send it around to the right side now for Maeve Simons. Sachs, 10 on the penalty. Just no openings, no creases in the Rutgers defense. Back to even strength. A chance that bounces wide from Simons.
And just so many red jerseys in the interior. I mean, Coleman was surrounded by 3 names.
Now you worry about the shot clock. It's at 12. Got to find something. Ammerman. And staying with Ohio State after Tyak shoots wide. No shot clock reset, so the final moments, that one goes wide. Rutgers has forced its 3rd shot clock violation of the game.
And really getting it done in all facets today. Earning momentum in the face-off, shutting Ohio State down defensively. And already 6 goals here against one of the top defenses in the country. A lot to like if you're a head coach, Melissa Lehman.
Now Rutgers will get the final word in one of its best halves of the season, especially given the competition. 15 seconds for Warren. And now Dixon. Corbin with 7 seconds. On the attack, and the goal! Rutgers finishes the first half with a flourish.
And just so solid here, right? Solo goals coming early and often here at SHI Stadium. This time it's Corbin, and we've seen a couple quick hesitations, knives inside, and number 16 on the year. This first half, one to remember here for Rutgers.
That's a career-high 16 goals for the senior from Long Island, Alexa Corbin. The latest Scarlet Knight to join the goal-scoring party. And this has been a statement first half hour in Piscataway. No 2 ways about it. A Rutgers team that's coming off a one-sided loss at Hopkins, facing the best defense in the Big Ten, and Rutgers has scored more goals in this game than it did all last Sunday against the Blue Jays. So all of that adds up to 4 assists for Lily Dixon. Second time in 3 games she can say that. And 7 Rutgers goals scored by 6 different players. So balance is obvious. And that's a flinch on the opening draw by Lexie Kupka. So Rutgers will start with it. Scarlet Knights are wearing the scarlet uniforms today against the scarlet and gray of Ohio State, as RU looks to close out what would be its 2nd ranked victory of the season and get to 2-1 on the Big Ten season. Now, Dixon is a junior. She played a big role on the team her first 2 years, but has just come into her own in a role where she has to play the biggest minutes, the biggest role ever. Last year ranked 5th in the conference with 30 assists. She's already surpassed that total, and there's still a month left. Rutgers hoping more like 2 months left. 35 seconds left on this shot clock as Rutgers tries to unlock this Ohio State defense that has had so much success this year. Dixon calls her own number. She can do it all.
And just picking up right where they left off in half number one. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Here's Dixon. And you can see just beats the body there, works her way inside, and just muscles in for the finish. It was one-on-one with Lily Sherman, and too much space on the left for Dixon, up to 16 to tie now her running mate in Corbin on the campaign. But a 1-2 punch Rutgers Scarlet Knights are awfully proud of.
It looked like Ohio State sagged off of Dixon waiting for the pass. Instead, the do-si-do.
Exactly right. They know what she does. She's the facilitator, the key assist woman throughout 2025. And that time, just not enough pressure on the ball.
So that is 5 points now for Lily Dixon to lead everybody today. Now, we were wondering how this game would go. Rutgers coming off of one of its quietest offensive efforts of the year at a great team in Hopkins. The Buckeyes trying to get back in the Big Ten win column after back-to-back defeats as Dixon forces another turnover. The results has been Rutgers unfazed by one of the best defenses in the nation, and Lily Dixon at the center of it all.
And Dom, coming in this one, I expected a real defensive affair. Two top goalies. And Rutgers, of course, 8 goals, a number that you never would have expected with 13 to play in the third. A number that I would have assumed they would have been content with at the full-time mark. And here they are just running away with this thing.
A number we thought could be victorious at the end of the day. With how talented the two goalkeepers are, Torres for Ohio State, Lexie Coldiron for Rutgers. This has been a one-sided show. Corbin.
And we've seen Ohio State in that style of game against USC, that 8-9 loss, of course, to begin Big Ten play. But with their style, you'd imagine that that low-scoring ball game is kind of where they're most comfortable. I mean, they can suffocate you. They generally dominate the possession a lot better than they have today.
Now they're going to pull Delaney Sutley back out to the 8-meter arc and set her up with a free position chance. She's going to goal. And she's bumped from behind. She wound up in the crease as well, so they'll call the crease violation before the shove. Now the other official is going to come in and actually award a second free position.
And it was bang-bang here, right? Left foot seems to be the one that enters the crease. Or right, I should say. But you could say the contact is what forced her into that position. And the initial call overruled. And Sutley set up once again.
Second chance. And Torres guides it wide. With Ohio State lurking there behind the cage, Katie Kochek wins it back for the Buckeyes. An Ohio State team that is trying to build forward after its lowest scoring first half of this season. You look back now, Miles, the second half against Michigan where Ohio State was in the game at half, the Buckeyes were held to just 1 goal then. So it's been an hour of lacrosse, 2 total goals.
And for a team that, I mean, in their non-conference schedule, 9 or more goals in every contest, 8 against USC, 7 most recently against Michigan. So trending negatively, but these most recent few quarters, I mean, Ohio State has completely lost their mojo offensively. And you got to give credit to Rutgers, particularly Michigan as well. I mean, they're a fantastic defensive group. The pressure has been a major factor, so I want to give them a little bit of an excuse here. It hasn't been all Ohio State, but, man, just the numbers staggeringly different over the most recent pretty much hour of play.
Shot clock is at 25. Every time the Buckeyes get within 5 yards, Rutgers collapses. There has not been a lapse yet defensively. Like that, coming right down the chute, McKenna Harrington is turned away. And Rutgers wins another ground ball. In some ways, what's most staggering is not Ohio State being held to 1 goal. It's the fact that they've only had 5 on target. You know, it's not like Lexie Coldiron has made some point-blank shots, too. There's easily a few goals out there that Coldiron is the only reason they aren't on the board for. But there have not been many looks for Ohio State. As Rutgers has gotten its opportunities, that slam dunk try stopped by Torres, trying to keep her Buckeyes in it. But Rutgers wins it back, and Sienna Casella will reset the offense.
And you can really make the case just the consistent on-ball pressure from Rutgers defensively will be the main theme that they come away with. I mean, if they're able to continue this throughout the second half of Big Ten play, this becomes the norm. Got to watch out for these Scarlet Knights.
Dixon trying to thread the needle, and Ohio State wins a turnover. So that's twice now that the Buckeyes have failed to clear. Neither time Rutgers is able to burn them. That's something you would think would be a big story, because Ohio State entered the day with the best clearing unit in the country. An Ohio State team that's looking to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015. Amanda Moore has his program trending in the right direction, but trying to find some footing here in the middle of the season. And can McKenna Harrington, the sophomore midfielder, give it to them? She's thinking goal, and she scores! Is that the result the Buckeyes needed to have a shot here in the second half?
Yeah, coming off this set piece, you see Harrington, well placed, goes once again above the eyes of Coldiron. And an aggressive shot, it'll pay off. Let's see if that can maybe turn the tide a little bit for Ohio State. They've been so quiet.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Right, Rutgers has won the last 6 meetings going back to the start of that all Big Ten 2021 season. But if you're the Buckeyes, you have the opportunity to do to Rutgers what the Scarlet Knights have done to them lately.
Exactly right. They've been that comeback group in the last 6 meetings. Of course, Ohio State hasn't taken any single one of them, but they were tied or they led in every single one of them. And now looking to exactly do what they've suffered against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights here on the road.
Yeah, it's just felt like the last few years that Rutgers has had Ohio State's number. It doesn't matter what the rankings have been. Each of the last 2 years, Rutgers has won a single Big Ten game, and it's been against Ohio State. So even though the Buckeyes had those halftime leads in basically every game, they haven't been able to win. Maybe they needed to be trailing at halftime to get the job done. And they have the ball coming off the draw and out of the Rutgers timeout, trailing 8-4. It was an 8-1 game just 5 minutes ago. A Buckeye team that is ranked after the program's best start, 8 consecutive wins to begin the year. Ammerman looking for Coleman, and it comes through to Stone, who shoots, and Coldiron turns it away. Ammerman. Shot clock didn't reset, so it's at 15. Stone. Hargraves. Ammerman looking for a cutter. It's Stone. Pass is stopped. 3 to shoot. And it's wide. And with 1 tick on the clock, Rutgers has forced yet another shot clock violation.
And credit to Ammerman that time. She realizes there were 9 seconds, dishes it off to the cutter. Now, they do come up unsuccessful, but for those first couple shot clock violations, they didn't even really attempt to get a shot off.
If I have the count right, that's 4 shot clock violations Rutgers has forced. A defense that is had some struggles lately. Gave up 17 goals last time out to Hopkins. Coming up with one of its best performances of the year. And trying to add to an advantage that is starting to feel precarious, even if it is a 4-goal lead.
And we're getting into the territory of this ball game where Rutgers is going to try and just take the air out of this one, be very patient. Contact on the right side.
Yeah, they won't get a chance to. Ava Chiarella called for the moving screen. So Ohio State's got the ball. Shot clock turned off. And one more opportunity. And park it in the attacking zone with Leah Sachs, the grad student from Philadelphia who's looking to beat Rutgers for the first time in her career. All 5 of her seasons, she's been a Buckeye. Tyak in front of the freshman Charlie Thomas, who has had some tough matchups today between Ammerman and Tyak. And Ammerman in the corner to corral it, under 30 seconds to go. Stone shoots on the run. Weaving through traffic, Campbell Stone brings Ohio State even closer.
And that is a major finish for Stone. 4 goals here in this third for Ohio State after just 1 at the half mark. And this one's a little solo goal, weaving her way through. And Stone works it past Coldiron.
That was the best solo effort we've seen all day from a Buckeye goal scorer. And Campbell Stone has stepped up in a major way.
And Stone has been so active today. I mean, she hasn't gotten the ball all that much, but you just see 9 cutting across your screen time and time again. That time she wasn't waiting for the assist. She had it herself. And what a major goal. Within 3 goals. And all the momentum in the hands of the Buckeyes.
And still time for a possession here with 22 seconds left. So Boyle and Buck battle. Ohio State has it. Here's Annie Hargraves with 10 seconds. Tyak back for Hargraves. Big collision. And that'll be a free position chance for Ohio State with 4 seconds left.
Now, if Hargraves is able to capitalize on this, we have a whole new ball game. And you can see Ohio State, just a different group offensively, forcing the issue.
Hargraves shoots and scores! Beating the buzzer! All Buckeyes in the third quarter.
You can only imagine what the words at halftime were. Goes left, and that time Coldiron dives. Just missed it. Opposite side. And Hargraves capitalizing on this set piece. Now Ohio State looking like a deep group offensively. And not much the Scarlet Knights could do about it. That's one-on-one with Coldiron. Chooses that bottom left-hand corner awfully wisely.
5 straight goals for Ohio State to end the third period. And what felt like a rout has turned into crunch time with the fourth quarter looming. It's a mid-game awakening for Ohio State. All of a sudden, it's game on.
And the other lesson, don't get complacent if you're the Scarlet Knights. I mean, the offense has just gone out the window after 8 goals. Of course, they did get that one in the third, so it wasn't like they were shut out, but it has been a different team out there for Ohio State.
And Rutgers does win the opening draw in the fourth. Both teams looking for their second Big Ten win. Ohio State has played one more league game, with Rutgers coming off of its conference bye. And wins are even more important this year, as Tini is stopped by Torres, but gets her own miss and pulls it back. Torres closed the 5-hole. Well, Big Ten wins are even more important this year because not everybody is going to make the conference tournament. With Big Ten expansion, there are now 9 women's lacrosse programs. 7, as in years past, will make the tournament. So 2 teams will not be moving on to play in College Park at the conference tournament. Here's Michelle Warren, sidewinding try. Torres is out of cage. And her Buckeyes help keep that from the goal line.
Yeah, nice stand there for Ohio State. Able to continue your momentum from the third. And all it takes is a couple nice offensive possessions. Might as well have zeros on the scoreboard after that.
Rutgers pitched a first quarter shutout. Led 4-0 after one. It was 7-1 at the end of the half. And Rutgers scored first to begin the second half as well. On the curl, Tyak! It's a 1-goal game.
And Tyak, a name who was held absolutely silent in the first half, just waiting for her to come alive. And Ammerman has done a great job of funneling her the ball. This one not necessary, as Tyak going to take it herself. And doesn't it just feel like Ohio State carries all the momentum? I mean, down 8-1 here in the third quarter, and now in the fourth, just rallying back. This is unbelievable now. And Tyak, you see here, curling around that left side, all solo there. And of course, much of the offense is ran through Ammerman, dishing at the point. But when you got a score like Tyak, sometimes they come easy like that.
What's most remarkable about this is it came out of nowhere. Wasn't out of a timeout. There was no big sea change. It just started with a goal, and Ohio State has continued it. Go all the way back to McKenna Harrington, scoring on a free position, making it 8-2, about 5 minutes into the last quarter. And string one after the other, Rutgers has grown it into, or Ohio State has grown it into this, as Rutgers muddies up efforts off of the draw. Ohio State wanted to foul a couple times in there, but the Scarlet Knights have the ball back, just as it seemed Ohio State would have the chance to tie.
Yeah, that's a big forced turnover there. Got the crowd into it right in front of the Rutgers bench as well. You can see they're a little bit more of a desperate group now.
That is the third time Rutgers has taken the ball from Ohio State in the middle of the field, as Tini slashes and shoots it wide.
Wanted the hat trick. Would have been a huge goal there to get some insurance back. We'll stay here.
And Lily Dixon has it. She scored the most recent goal for her team. It was back in the first minute of the third quarter. Since that point, Ohio State has strung 6 in a row together. Tini open again and pockets another. Just what Rutgers needed.
Third time's the charm on the possession there for Tini, and she is up to 3 on the day. She was really determined there over the last 30 seconds, just fighting, thinking about that solo goal the entire time. And cutting right to left, curling, and nice upper 90 finish as well. Tini up to 3 on the day.
Today you've witnessed Peyton Tini's first career hat trick. And there have been a couple of points in this game where she has felt unstoppable off the bounce,
it really
one-on-one.
Has. And you know, really decisive cuts that time down the left side of the lane. And Tini in a moment where Rutgers really needed some offense.
The sophomore from Bayville, New York, another Long Islander, has her first career hat trick. And the Scarlet Knights rebuild the advantage to 2. What a swing that was. And Katie Buck straight out the front door with the draw control. And Rutgers will get into its look. A Scarlet Knight team that is unranked in the coaches poll, receiving votes from U.S. Lacrosse magazine, trying to build its resume into one that earns a bid in May. And its second win against a ranked team, that would go a long way. Sutley hesitates. And turned away after all of that.
Yeah, the window closed in a hurry there. There was a heartbeat where she had the angle.
Rutgers inverts with Dixon at the top of the key. Corbin. Some contacts, loses possession. And trying to play keep away with the shot clock down to 20. Ava Chiarella. Through 2 defenders. Top corner! Rutgers has roared back to life.
And it really feels like they took that anxiety, that pressure when it was a one-score game and turned it into some offense on the other side. This time, curling around is Chiarella, and now back-to-back solo goals, able to beat Torres.
Rutgers' individual effort has been top shelf, just like that goal from Chiarella.
And of course, second time in this fourth that we've seen of this type of solo curl around. Chiarella that time. And not an assist needed there. Just wanted to take it herself. And Ohio State now back in this 3-goal deficit. See if they have some more charisma, some more spark in their pocket.
So 2 split dodges, some speed, and 2 scores for the Scarlet Knights. And the difference once again is 3. Just when it felt like Ohio State was going to tie the game, it felt like when, not if.
It really did.
The Buckeyes found themselves behind by 3 once again. And you go back to something that was so obvious from Rutgers during the non-conference portion of the season, that it faced tough competition as that's turned over. A rare miscue. Bryn Ammerman, I think, just took her eye off the ball.
Yeah, you see how shocked she was. Her teammates jogged back there, and a rare turnover for the engine of the offense.
And Melissa Lehman said, we wanted to challenge our team early in the season. We wanted to grow confidence, but challenge them. Because like every other coach in the conference, she knew what would be in store in the Big Ten. A team full of national title, a conference full of national title contenders. With the likes of Northwestern, who's going to come to town next weekend. A group that's grown up, has been through some one-sided losses, but has battled back this season to a 7-4 record and has battled back in this game. And there's Tini, who's been the leader of the offense, to draw the whistle.
And on paper, this 2-game stretch of John Hopkins and, of course, Ohio State is really the toughest Big Ten stretch they have. 17 in the nation, followed by 21 in the nation. Big rebound spot here after a tough loss last time out.
Yeah, toughest stretch yet for the Scarlet Knights, that's for sure, and it's only going to get worse with Rutgers playing its final 3 games of the season on the Big Ten Network, all against ranked teams. Corbin turned away. Sutley, there's the opening, there's another!
And what a run to respond here for Rutgers. Looked like a nail-biter moments ago. And now just a plethora of solo goals here in the fourth, and this time getting involved here at Salt Lake.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
And usually when you go that deep, you're not going to get a quality look, but
Elsner scores another. And it's Dixon again, damming it up.
And Rutgers just moving with such confidence now in the fourth. Where was this offense during that Ohio State run? I mean, man, they have gotten back to their identity and sharing it awfully well this time around. Elsner the finish.
You can see that Elsner is one of the tallest on the team, so she has the span to reel in passes in a crowd. And once Torres gambled, it was over.
Exactly right. Torres just got caught reaching, if you will. You saw Coldiron reach up and got caught a little bit earlier. And that time, Torres, a similar fate. And now 7 different names have scored. 12 on the board for Rutgers. And back into the driver's seat.
And 2 goals today for the freshman Hillary Elsner. 12-7 is the lead. And Ohio State more or less back at square one. Winning the draw and needing to repeat what it was able to do in the third quarter. Ammerman. And Magalotti sends it for Tyak. Open in front, and that's exactly what Ohio State needed. Quick scoring. Leah Sachs cashes in.
Exactly right. They needed it in a hurry just as the lead balloons to 5. The Buckeyes fire back with one of their own, and still not that much time here. But that's textbook Buckeye offense. Of course, Bryn Ammerman dishing it off, the Westchester, Pennsylvania native, known for assist abilities, and Sachs the finish.
And first one today for the grad student Leah Sachs. A captain, she's been the leader of this squad for a few years now.
Ammerman very quick with the dime.
And everybody anxiously awaiting the results of this draw. Boyle and Buck. And Buckeye ball. Sort of rinse and repeat time for Ohio State.
Exactly. Get it to Ammerman, find that dime.
And the pass to the point ends up past the restraining line. Corbin's got it for Rutgers. And I think we'll get a card here as well. That's right. Audrey Schomer will get it on the hit. And so Rutgers will be a player up and an opportunity to add insurance. Now the sophomore sees the green card. Rutgers will take the advantage, but in some ways neutralizes what felt like an odd-numbered rush there for a moment.
And now 4 goals with under 5 to play, or under 6 to play, approaching that 5-minute mark. And the Scarlet Knights really just 3 or 4 quality offensive possessions for wrapping this one up. Getting out of here with their biggest Big Ten victory of the campaign so far.
Yeah, Rutgers team that came into this rested had a full week to diagnose what went wrong against Johns Hopkins in that 17-6 defeat. And turn that into one of their best halves of the year. leading 7-1 at the break against a top 25 team in Ohio State. Now, it's not going to get any easier for the Scarlet Knights. They'll play at Penn State Thursday on the Big Ten Network. And then it's all ranked for the final 4 games of the year. Now, Rutgers really not thinking goal on that player advantage, thinking burn the clock. Now there's 20 on the timer. And foul away from the ball. We'll reset things. So they'll pull Dixon to the spot of the foul on the arc so she can crash. She stopped and she tie. With 7 seconds. Sutley, Tini into the middle, and a stop by Torres. Not been her best day. Jocelyn Torres, 9 saves versus 12 goals allowed.
Yeah, certainly going to see her special year ratio of 86 to 72 coming into the day go down a little bit. Still in the positive, though.
Ohio State ball down 4, under 4. Tyak. Stone. And Ammerman surveys. Rutgers pressing, though. Tyak looking in front and no opening to feed it to Leah Sachs. Yeah, just the fact that Rutgers has forced this possession to take a while is the biggest thing.
And you'd imagine for Ohio State, they have that internal clock saying, hey, we got to get this shot off. 3 to play in the 4th.
We'll get a foul as Annie Hargraves was cut off. And they're going to put her on the 8-meter arc.
And those stoppages, exactly what you don't want if you're the Scarlet Knights. Want to keep this clock running. It's your best friend. Now a set-piece opportunity with the clock stopped. Worst of both worlds.
And Hargraves has already scored 1 on the free position. And a trail check denies her. Emily Clothier came in, so no reset. 12 to shoot. Tyak. 5 seconds. Hargraves lost the handle. And another violation forced by the Scarlet Knights. Their defense digs in when it matters most.
There is so much to like today about the Rutgers Scarlet Knights performance. Shutting them down on the defensive side, getting a plethora of names involved on the offensive side. I mean, this is going to be the blueprint moving forward if you're Rutgers, saying, we know what we can do. We did this to top 21 in the nation, Ohio State. And with a lot of ranked opponents on the horizon, real confidence-building affair here at SHI Stadium.
It's been a resilient showing for the Scarlet Knights, who had the great start and fended off Ohio State's best comeback effort to grab this result. Lily Dixon has had yet another big day, a goal and 5 assists to continue her march up Rutgers' all-time assists chart. And trying to lead Rutgers to, as we mentioned, what would be their second-ranked win, would also go as their first top 20 RPI win, with Ohio State at 17th right now. This is the time to build your resume for May in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. This is that late-season push era if you're the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And in the pretty small tournament out there, less than 30 teams, 29 to be exact, got to really bolster that resume every opportunity you can.
And Ohio State does not seem eager to press Rutgers. with the shot clock and the game clock only separated by about 50 seconds. So with that, this game's effectively over.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a great day for RU. The offense produced just the second double-digit goal performance against Ohio State's defense. And outside of one rough stretch in the third quarter, Rutgers' defense was great too.
Very much so. I mean, really late into shot clocks consistently if you're Ohio State. Felt like Coldiron wasn't tested as much as she usually has been. And just a credit to Rutgers' on-ball pressure, forcing the Buckeyes into some uncomfortable positions late into shot clocks. And at times, maybe 3 out of the 5, Ohio State wasn't even aware, just poor offensive possessions.
Yeah, Rutgers' RPI at the start of the day was 29th, but loads of opportunities ahead to add to it, to boost it up, because 5 of Rutgers' last 6 opponents, including Ohio State, are top 20 in the nation in RPI. That's what you get with the Big Ten Conference. It's perennially the best in the country. It's been a good day for the Scarlet Knights. I mentioned they're going to go on the road to Penn State, who's the final team outside of the rankings that Rutgers will face. And then one more save there to cap it off for Coldiron. Rest of the way, it'll be tough. Northwestern, Maryland, Michigan, USC waiting. But the Scarlet Knights can derive a lot of confidence from the way they performed today.
They sure can. 7 different names getting a goal, and this is one you see they're fired up for good reason. Some love for Coldiron as well. And now the bench charge is out there. They're fired up, and they deserve to be.
That's another ranked victory for the Scarlet Knights. They fend off Ohio State's best comeback effort, and Rutgers collects a top 25 W in Big Ten action, 12-8.